Hey, what's up everybody? How you guys doing? Just gotten home, so a little bit late to the stream, but yeah, I just wanted to jump back on. Let's see. How's real quick before we get started, just somebody give me a quick mic check. It's good, okay. Music not too loud. You guys getting that little vibe action? Alright. Okay. So, real quick, we just got a Bitcoin up like normal. I know we got a lot of chaos going on with the doggy, so we will jump over there here in a sec, see what's going on. But yeah, basically Bitcoin holding above critical horizontal line support resistance levels. Looking back left, right, 58.2, basically 58.2 was really a critical area. We've the past 2 4-hour closes have remained well above those areas. Have yet to even really backtest them, which we still can. We could even drop back into the second one as long as we get back up and up out of them. It's the follow through, right? The follow through price action. But so far, so good. We're holding well above. So this is what we want to see if we are going to get up into these higher areas, right? 61.8 to 63 target area that will complete this more local bearish butterfly that you see in blue. And it will also at that point complete the let me go ahead and see if this works here. Sorry guys. There you go. And there you go. Okay. So basically you also have in purple here a bearish shark, which again, we know sharks can go much higher, right? They can go up here to the 113, but their first area of interest is still going to be this 886, okay? And it does align with this local smaller time frame harmonic, so we just have to keep it in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. All right, so with that being said, we also have this massive cipher, okay, that's really still never quite hit its targets, right? Which would be the A over here looking back left, the A anchor point high, and the second target being the C high. That's what is containing this gray box, right? It's that A anchor point and that C anchor point looking back left, okay? So that's kind of how everything comes together as far as all of these harmonics now go. And that's why we have this target zoned area like the way we do, right? With this gray box like this, okay? Makes sense? That's where all that's coming from, just kind of looking back left real quick. So of the large cipher, you have the green lines above and below the gray box that are the A and the C targets, okay? Right smack dab in the center of that gray box, that zone, right? You have these other two harmonics that both, are also aiming for that area. So there's just a lot of coinciding variable pattern completion area / targets that all occur within within that same little area, okay? So let's just keep that in mind. And okay, so let's see. First request. Okay, it looks like you guys want to see the dog, so we will hop over to the dog. Okay, so it looks like we still haven't gotten back above that critical level, right? This horizontal overhead horizontal line support, resistance that we're trying to flip into support. I'm just going to paint it this way so it marks over here, and it's basically 65-66 cents area, right? So that area has yet to be regarded, we haven't flipped it. It's still acting as resistance, right? Heavy resistance here. So we need to see, if that level can be, price can get back above that area, regard it as support finally for real, and then be able to move up, right? So pretty critical price action right now. It looks like on the, I don't know, some shit's going on. Yeah, low time frame effery, right? Okay, so have to see how that shakes out, but figures, right? Seems like right into the stream. Right into the SNL start, right? It immediately starts going berserk. Looks like some Darth Maul action on the low time frame. Anyways, bigger picture still really hasn't changed. We're butting up against that overhead resistance area, and if we're looking for it to basically get up and over it. Okay, so moving into like the 2-hour time frame, yeah, so there's your like jeez, just shaking everything up, right? Nasty price action. So yeah, looks like, the fact that you have this kind of chaos going on right now, you have to be eating up a lot of this supply at that 60, what is it, like 0.65 area. So if it can eat up the rest of that supply there, get above that level, we may almost kind of see it happen in real time, maybe not. But anyways, you need to get above the level and you need to hold it. Okay, critical that you hold it. Looking back over here, it looks like this wick low down here, you just squared this up. Okay, so that was nothing too concerning, especially because it was immediately bought back up. What is critical now is just being able to get above here. Okay, so looking in a little further, 30-minute, yeah, just chaos right there, huh? Fun times, right? So we'll see if she can hold. If she can hold, this is what we were talking about. Okay, we want to see these levels get up in these areas. Okay, this first one being right here, okay, where this box is at excuse me, 80 cents, right? 80 cents. And then that first lower target line being 87 cents, and then that higher target line being 98 cents. And we were talking about, if we can find ourselves up there, to look for a short, we'd be wanting to see some kind of distributing price action, right? Some kind of coiling price action that a bearish Gartley would paint, where the initial impulse down is the rest of the anchor points, the B, the C, and the D, all contained within the X and the A. You see what I'm saying? Like, one of them doesn't come outside of it, and the other one doesn't come below it. Does that make sense, guys? Which those are different characteristics of other harmonics, but the Gartley would coil itself within, right? So get up into that zone, front run a dollar, paint some kind of bearish Gartley, bearish divergence on the MACD, RSI. That's what we'd be looking for a short setup. But right now, we're just basically kind of chopping away at resistance, at overhead resistance. So basically, let's see if there's, enough bids come in now with, the dog being on prime time. I don't know how many people are watching that or not, but we'll have to see, I guess, right? See if it matters. I guess it only really takes a couple people with a lot of money, right? So see how it plays out. But critical areas. I guess we could just keep tabs on it. Kind of be the dog stream, the Dogecoin stream a bit, and we could just kind of peek back over here periodically, okay? So let's go check out Ethereum. Ethereum to USDT 4 hour. Looking pretty solid here, guys. Yeah, I mean, you're aiming for the target 4,000. You basically had this critical area, right, where we had these three lines of resistance that we were talking about needed to be flipped and regarded as support, right? So if we take a measured move from basically this congestion low area where traders kind of settled up convincingly, and we take a measured move from there into this zone, we could even take the high side of this, okay? Take the measured move, bring it up over here, measured moves hit. If we want to get even more aggressive, we could have taken it all the way from the wick low. We could have taken it from the wick low, and that probably has also already been hit. Let's see, maybe not. Okay, pretty much though, right? So your measured moves are being hit, 4K approaching. This thing basically, I don't know that it exceeded expectations of what we were speaking about over the past maybe 30 hours ago. Identifying Ethereum just eating away at that overhead resistance 3550 area. No more supply left. Too many apes, not enough bananas. Dime measured move to the upside. 11.5% later, you find yourself knocking on the door of 4K. I mean, at this point, pretty likely you see a wick throw itself up there and tap on 4K just to say it happened, right? Can we exceed it? Sure. The reason being, Ethereum is leading the pack. It is outperforming Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, from what we're basically kind of identifying here, is a move to the upside still remains 61, 63 area, right? So if Bitcoin starts sending it to 63, well, I mean, now ETH might find itself above 4,000. But either way, 4,000 would not hurt as an area. You're basically here, guys. This is a zone where one would have been taking profit if you would have entered the trade, down here where we were talking about the supply, being gobbled away, right? You would have been taking profit in this zone. You see what I'm saying? Your stop would have been down here, right? So in an area where traders take profit, right? Don't think that a potential retracement can't happen, okay? So this is why you take profit, right? So yeah, ETH looking good, man. It was such a powerful setup. It was looking really, really strong, extremely bullish, even on the ETH to BTC pair, right? Which we could pull up here next. ETH to BTC. Both of them were just looking, you know, extremely strong. That being said, you know, it makes sense that ETH is already knocking on the door of 4K, you know, leading the way. So see if Bitcoin can muster up some strength next. But real quick, we will check that ETH to BTC. See what we were talking about here. See what I mean, guys? So ETH BTC also is now entering these take profit target area. You're in bearish butterfly. That's what you're looking at, the blue harmonic. And your bearish butterfly starts at the 1272 and goes up as high as the 1618. So you're currently at the, let's see where we are. Let me get rid of this. You're basically sitting at the almost the 1414. The 1414 overhead fib extension is basically right here. You basically have approached that level for the second time over the past 8 hours. Okay. We thought this was more probable, higher probability of this going to this red line up here, more of the 1618, 2618 coinciding, 1618 golden mean ratio with a 2618 overhead fib extension, right? We were looking at that as a more probable area. Okay, we could even check with the Magic 8 Ball and see, Magic 8 Ball, do you think that Ethereum can reach the red line target at 0.068? ETH to BTC, according to the Magic 8 Ball, says you should be taking profit already. So hey, we're in the take profit zone. Take profit target 1's been hit. Magic 8 Ball's conservative. Magic 8 Ball is a very conservative trader. So the Magic 8 Ball is securing those gains already. Okay, Magic 8 Ball scaling out. You guys are welcome to aim for a little bit higher, but the Magic 8 Ball is taking profit in front of you. Okay. Next we have, I'm gonna check this one out. Okay, this is FTT, guys. We've been kind of watching this because it has approached the pattern completion zone D, short entry target area of a bearish shark. And this is the high side of the shark, not the 886 where the shark begins. This is the 113 where the shark is at its fullest extension. Okay, so if this shark was going to act as, even though it's a bearish shark, okay, in name, bearish shark, it has the ability to somewhat act as continuation because it presents the scenario of morphing into a bullish 5-0 once you retrace 50% of the way from your C low to your D high. Okay, so if we were to throw that up from the C low to the D high here, if we were to retrace to the green line 50% of the way down, right, that's where the bearish shark that hits the 113 retraces 50% of the way and morphs into a bullish 5-0, and you at a pretty much minimum run back to the high as a double top, but can also, you know, run much higher than that, you know what I mean, and sweep those highs, right? But first you would target back at this kind of entry where the 113 began. Okay, does that make sense? So yeah, currently FTT FTT looking good because I mean you're holding up basically right at that level, right? You're sitting right at that resistance that the 113 overhead fib extension should provide if this is truly a bearish shark, right? So you can see here the 113 is what we're speaking of, okay? So as you see it painted here, one would look for maybe even a double top here, okay? But it's basically already live. You would be shorting to here, the 50% retracement, and then you would be looking for some kind of double bottom confirmation there, and you would be longing it right back up, okay guys? So that's how you would play this type of pattern. Yeah. Bearish shark morph into bullish 5-0. All right, let's see next. Request says DOT. Okay. DOT. Whoops. Had the pencil on. Okay, so DOT looks like you're selling off a bit here. So nowhere near its like stop area, but you know, definitely selling off. But yeah, just kind of holding that slightly higher low there area. So yeah, just kind of have to see, you know, yeah, see if this holds, maintains this higher low. Nothing, just kind of chop right here, guys. Just sideways chop, nothing crazy. You don't want to kind of lose that kind of higher low that we've built, right? We've developed this higher low area. You don't want to lose it, right? So as long as that kind of holds up, should be fine, right? Painting consecutive higher low, higher low, higher low. It's selling off a bit, which you never like to see, right? That's kind of trying to, you know, scare some people out of their positions, right? Stop some people out, maybe with tighter stops, or, you know, just get traders to puke their positions, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. DOT. All right. Somebody says, can we please look at dog again? Okay. Let's break it. We have the dog stream request. Whoa, yeah. Hi. Hi, doggy. Okay, so looks like it definitely attempted to run that stop, but not quite, right? Not quite. Whoa. Nasty price action right there. Critical area, right? We had that drawn. It just still rejected it, right? It was critical to get above it. You have to get above it, right? Ran the stops pretty good there, I'm sure, for a ton of people, right? What was the top of that? 69 to 51. So yeah, that's a pretty good candle. How big was this candle? 26%. Nice. Yeah, so you have to get above this level. Rejecting it caused back to the range low, right? So you can see if you can test it again, right? But again, you gotta hold it. You gotta hold it, right? Have to SR flip it. You almost did it here, right? You got above it and you back tested it and you almost held it, but then just failed, right? Failed, sold right off. So interesting. Yeah. See how this plays out. You still haven't quite swept these lows, so I wonder if it's gonna want to, right? See if it'll sweep those lows or not. But definitely cleared the runway, right? Cleared the runway. So a couple things can happen here. This was either, stopping everyone out and then running without them, right? Anyone maybe not paying attention to it, had a stop set too tight, got hit. This gets back to the 65 cent level and is able to hold back above it, right? Or this continues to sell off below the stop, right? Below 50 cents and back test 50 cents as resistance, right? So basically there's two scenarios. You come back up and you get above this level and then you run, okay? Scenario 1. Scenario 2, you get below the stop and the stop is regarded as resistance like this, and then you sell off, okay? So definitely, don't want scenario 2 unless you're in a short, right? But for the longs, you need to get above this level, critical level that just hasn't it's been attempted a couple times, right? So strike 1, strike 2 for sure. That was strike 2. So if you can test it again, you have a higher probability on 3 strikes, right? Third time's a charm. So let's see what happens here. This, of course, being a 4-hour time frame, could take some time to happen. Just depends how aggressive the buyers step in here. That again, look, somebody just looking at this might be like, oh man, I just got 20% discount, right? So I'll take some at a 20% discount. So it's possible that it's possible that you see some bids step in and you get a small push to the upside here. But yeah, you do not want to lose this stop 50 cents and regard it as resistance, right? That'll be it. So keep that in mind. You need to get back above 65 cents. Crucial. Okay, somebody said SOL. Sol. USDT. Yeah, okay. Okay, Solana, SOL. Okay, we have a couple things that could be happening here. Again, this is the kind of price action that'll definitely paint these type of head and shoulders-esque, right, patterns, right? So if this was going to maintain, we need to look for the variables, coinciding variables, right? And this back end, basically divergence kind of both ways here, is a good sign for bearish argument here. Not what you want to see if you were hoping for this to be a bullish case here. So okay, what needs to happen here is you have to basically, again, say this RSI here is painting like a trend line like this, okay? So you have to, as this relative strength, right? If you were the relative strength, you must like break this, okay? You have to like break this trend and almost regard it like this, right? And then you can continue up. But if this relative strength just holds and just fails and sells off again, right, you're going to find yourself testing the bottoms where you're going to have to rebuild the bullish divergence, right? So you need to invalidate this fairly rapidly, due to the fact that, you know, the MACD is waning on you, right? You need this MACD to begin building positive momentum again. And a good signal here would be invalidating this pattern, right? So you want to see these highs right here, $50 basically, right? You want to see that broken. So if you can muster up the strength to almost, you know, this initial right shoulder-esque area here can still go much higher, right? Right there, it matches the previous one. And even this, as long as it's kind of below this head, it can still be a little higher. So that would still be okay. It's when price gets through all this, okay? Sorry. It's when price gets through all of that you really begin invalidating the pattern, okay? For one, the RSI at that point should have been well broken back above here, right? If you're going to be invalidating all this, right? The RSI would match, the trend would break, right? So that's what you're looking for to invalidate a bearish scenario, okay? If you're in a short, you don't want to see those things happen. If you're looking to long, okay, if you're looking to long here and you like this asset and you were in a long, you would have your stop below this previous congested area where all these wick lows, right? Use that as your stop. Boom, like this. Okay, so if this was your stop, like so, right? If these lows all get swept, this is probably confirming now your head and shoulders is actually a head and shoulders, right? What you wouldn't want to see there is this, right? It sells off, sweeps all these wick lows, and then back tests them as resistance, right? That's just going to confirm the pattern, right? So you're kind of in gray area here because you're in the middle of what's the range high and the range low, right? You'd be buying in the middle of the range, and we try to not buy in the middle of range. But you know, if you short it up here, this lower high here is okay, right? You put in a high and then a lower high, so that's how you're okay still on your short. You just don't want to start seeing these levels right up here get swept, right? You want to see this maintain at least these levels. Definitely don't want to sweep your entry areas right up here. We have seen these head and shoulders though get blown out, right? We've seen these blow out to the upside also. So again, what's going to tell us that? We need to look for the variables. So if you're going to blow this head and shoulders out and invalidate it, you have to get above this RSI like this, okay? It's going to be your first initial telltale signal, okay? So keep an eye on that. If you get it, you know, that's how you end up invalidating the pattern, flipping the trend, right? So you're looking for something like that, right? So okay, next we have a request for RSR USDT. Okay, you know, technically from this low here, you're still painting a higher low, so this needs to have some kind of help down here, right? All right, so painting some kind of a case here for bullish divergence to the upside, so that's not too bad here. RSI, similar, right? On the RSI, you don't want to see this broken. Similarly, how we were just looking at it the other way, right? If you're trying to long this, you don't want to lose this. and regard it as resistance and begin losing your relative strength, right? That would be a bad sign. But as long as you can hold this, maintain a trend line, get back above this 50% area, right? And then continue on your way up. That's the kind of way we want to see the relative strength develop, okay? Yeah, not too bad area actually right here. RSR. Okay, so RSR, if you were going to take a long here, it's not that bad of an area because your invalidation is extremely tight, right? This low right here. You don't want to see that low at 0.076. You don't want to lose that, right? So it's a really tight area here where you can have take a long and be able to have a really tight stop. You see what I'm saying? So you're already getting, 4.5 to 1, and that's just kind of on this initial area here, right? Where you would simply be going back to that you see this resistance, support, resistance. Finally, when you get back to it, you have a chance at breaking it, right? So at that point, that's when we do things like this, right? And you scale out percentages at each of these various levels, and this position ends up having multiple take profit targets like this. Okay, so target 1, target 2, target 3, these stops, you want these stops below that previous wick low, right? As soon as you lose that wick low, you pretty much, abandon mission, right? Abandon mission at that point. Something like that. So RSR, let's see here. So somebody's saying RSR 12-hour Gartley. Um, 12-hour Gartley. Let's see, what did he say? Just says Gartley. He's not saying bullish or bearish though, so I'm not sure which way he's looking at it. Let's see, if I just put this to the 4-hour, it'll get rid of it. We'll get rid of this. Okay, so let's see, Gartley. What would he be looking at? 12-hour Gartley. Trying to see it. I'm just not sure if he's looking bearish or bullish. Bearish, okay. Anchor point wise, I don't know. Let's see. So Gartley, basically, here's what we're looking for. 618, okay, guys? So 618B, 786, basically, and then 786, okay? Where the pattern basically stays within itself, okay? And then in a vice versa, right? So 618 to the high side, right? 618. Basically between like a 618 and an 886 here, kind of 786, and then 786, right? So that's what we're looking for. So if we bring this up into our area here, right, we would basically have to paint it this way. Let's see if this is what he's seen. X, A, B. It's so okay. So right there, that's probably what it is. Okay, let's see. Probably what it is there. Let's see. Yep, okay, found it. All right. Just saw his DM. Okay. So yeah. Right here, if this was our B, and then if this maintains and is our C low, this 786 is that first target area there. So again, this is kind of that situation where you have basically like a bat and a Gartley kind of mix. Okay, so a bat has a 50% retrace like this. Okay, but then the Gartley has a 618, so we didn't quite get to the 618, which is critical for a Gartley, but we were damn close, right? 575, really close. That's why I say it's like a mixture of the bat and the Gartley. The C is valid. So yes, if this remains Gartley, 786. If it's bat, it's 886, right? Right here. So that's why we layer in this zone. Okay. So that's why we would layer in this zone. And we would also be looking for if and when we get there to see, okay, here do we have the divergence? Not yet. Okay, what about here? Okay, now, all right, well, it was probably a bat. But if the divergence is here, it was a Gartley. And it's going to be significant if it was a Gartley, because a Gartley is going to paint it. A Gartley is going to bring you those coinciding variables like that at that critical 786. So a Gartley critical because B618, right? Let me zoom this in now that we kind of found it for you guys. Okay. So what's critical on Gartley is the B, right? Gets to the 618. And that 618 happens from this X high to the A low. You're looking at that 618, right? So see how we fell just short of it? So Gartley characteristic really does want to see that 618, okay? On the bat, you want to see the 50, which we were just above it, right? That's why, again, I say it's a mixture of the bat and Gartley-esque price action, but it's still wave analysis-esque harmonic structure, right? So it can still play out very decent, all right? So it's possible that this was also more like this, right? Now that we have more data, you know, we just adjust, right? It's all we can really do. Okay. Next, we have a request for... Let's see, what's next? EGLD. All right, here we have EGLD. We are basically looking at a bearish butterfly is what we had painted on EGLD. So that's what we were, you know, ideally attempting to paint and develop. Yeah, nothing really presenting, you know, it's still there. It hasn't really, like, nothing invalidating it per se, right? Is what I'm trying to say. So still potential, definitely still potential. So yeah, see if it'll hold. You don't want to lose, again, you don't want to lose this kind of neckline area that it painted, right? So this neckline area here, right? As long as that holds, you know, we're not really in trouble here. You've painted consecutive, continuous higher lows, right? Even though they're they're a little choppy here and nasty, they're still there, right? So as long as that continues, you know, you could see this still playing out to target 1 227, target 2 268, and you know, target 1 at 225 there. That's gonna be your that's your 1272 area, where you have a measured move hitting and you have a fib area. So yeah, EGLD, as long as, again, you just need the trend to maintain, right? Continue painting higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. As soon as that stops being the case, right, that's when you really gotta worry, right? You gotta be like, okay, this is not good, right? If you start painting lower lows, right, lower lows, lower lows, that's when you want to bail, right? So okay, let's see here. We now have a request for we have a request for Badger. I don't know if I've ever. Oh yeah, it's on Binance. I was gonna say, I'm not sure that I've ever sharded Badger. Yeah, we haven't. Okay, let's see. Badger. Nothing blaring on the oscillator. So let's see. Let's zoom in here. Okay. So we had this initial, definitely discernible low here, right? Painted a decently higher one. We've now got this pretty clear neckline, right? So if we look back left, we could probably make this a little even more defined by we'll use these lows, right, first, and then let's change it white, and we'll use these second lows here. See what I mean? So that's more of the neckline structure, right? Torso-esque structure that we like to see. So if you were Badger, okay, you would want to get above these areas, right? Flip this into support, and then you can maybe run these highs. You did have a pretty nice square up right there. Whoops, I don't like that. That's so. Gosh, stop. Okay. See this square up area that you got? Very clear square up. So once that happened, it you know, definitely just sold off. That was actually probably your measured move being hit as well. Depends how aggressive you got with it, right? But for the most part, you see what I'm saying? Some kind of measured move was being hit there, from the low point to back towards the, you know, square up area, right? Sold off, but continuing to still paint what is currently a higher low, right? So that's okay. Yeah, I would say on Badger here, let's see, X A B C, was this 886? Just about. So 886 is going to be a bearish bat, but if you can exceed that, you can look for this 1272 to be a butterfly. Okay, it just depends, right? You gotta first get through that 886, and then sweep the high, which is the X high, and then you could target the 1272. But before any of that happens, you need to get back above 37, right? You have to flip and regard this area that has once been resistance, right? Previous support, right? Previous support, now resistance. You need to regard it again as support. Very critical. on Badger in order to see any sort of continuation to the upside. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm dying here. Too much talking. Okay. Let's go back to the dog's rugging. Okay. That was bad, right? Did not want to see that. That's the area that we said, okay, if you lose that and you regard this as resistance, it's going to sell all the way back off. Man. Epic failure right here. Epic failure. Critical level. Failed. Oh, poor dog. Yeah. Sell the news event for sure, right? Man. You know, still remains, if you can ever find your way back here, that third time is still gonna probably send it regardless. But again, you cannot regard this as resistance. You immediately need to get back above here and start making your way back above immediately. If not, I mean, if you're regarding this area as resistance, you're gonna go all the way back to 30 cents. Okay, all the way back to 30 cents. So critical area on the dog, man. Really hate to see it, but you know, it happens, right? Just take stabs at it. Just take stabs. You know, these are just positions, simple positions, right? So it's always crazy when you're trying to use, you know, event-driven catalysts, right? Also, so tough to throw that variable in. But yeah, let me clean this up here a bit. Okay, so basically, again, this 50 cents area must first get back above 50 cents, right? From here, yeah, I mean, from here, yeah, from here, if you get back above 50, which you just kind of did, right? It's kind of what we're watching. You get back above this 50 cent area, and yeah, it's possible that at that point you could target that 65 cent area again and try one more time, right? But if not, I don't know, it just depends, right? You have a lot of work to do. That was an epic failure, right? So it could have been just an epic squeeze as well, but yeah, I mean, follow through price action is key here, very critical. 50 cents, you got so far back above it. You still stopped everyone, right? Everyone stopped out, so that sucks. Big range, you made a big range here. This was more like the range low, you see what I mean? And you basically breached it. Okay, so you came up, found range bottom, went up, found range high, came back down, basically swept it. But you're holding it still. So yeah, dog, poor dog. A lot of dogs were sacrificed in that event, right? Many dogs sacrificed. Let's see, my mouse is low. I'm switching mouses here real quick. Okay. Okay, we're on the new mouse. All right, we're back. Okay, so let's see if we put this in on the 2 hour. half hour, 15-minute. All right, so there's that 50 cents area that we had just talked about. Very, very critical to hold that level, right? Critical to hold the level. Somehow, some way you can muster some strength. Maybe people really still do love it. But you need a lot of bids to come in. A lot of bids, because you know, it's not as easy to move anymore, right? When you put so much liquidity into its market cap, right? It's not as illiquid of a S coin that it used to be, right? So it takes a decent amount of capital rotating back in to see, you know, that occur, right? So you just have to see. Just gonna have to see if this holds. Ideally, again, like we were saying, right, you want some kind of confirmation here. Back test it again. So you got this one bottom, double bottom, right? Build a neckline, get above that, hold that, test the high, test it again, paint the head and shoulders and fake it, test it again, hold that, go, right? That's the only way. And that's yeah, got a lot of work to do to see that. See, you're already selling off again. Critical level. Critical level. Wow. Detrimental level. I don't know, guys. This could be it for the dog. This could be it. So 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents must hold. Losing it, it's over. Holds, there's a chance. Holds, there's a chance. Lose, it's over. What's it gonna be? Who's gonna win the battle? Bulls versus Bears, critical level, 50 cents, critical psychological level, right? Very, very easy to tell here that if you lose it, back test it as resistance. Bulls would just be giving up, right? It's over. Admitting defeat. If they hold it, you know, different story. They're saying, hey, party's not over yet, so we're watching it in real time. It's like watching paint dry. Even though this has been fairly volatile today, so you know, at least you're getting to that. But yeah, critical level. It's almost even a little higher, you know what I mean? We were using that more as like a stop area, but it's like you need to get back above like 51.6 is even more the critical horizontal line support resistance area that must be flipped back into support. Currently acting as resistance. What's it gonna be? Alright, sorry guys, getting a drink there. So yeah, just giving you a little epic music real quick while the dog figures itself out here for a second. I don't know, what do you guys think? Magic 8 Ball. Is the dog gonna hold 50 cents? You're never gonna make it. Wow. Magic 8 Ball, man. Ruthless piece of equipment. I'm gonna have to ask Dime for a refund on this shit. This Magic 8 Ball, mess around. Never gonna make it. Wow. So much disrespect from the Magic 8 Ball. Yeah, we should record its accuracy, right? I think it's probably like around 4 for 6 right now, maybe 5 of 8. I think it's something in that area. So, you know, not too bad for the Magic 8 Ball. Gotta respect it. It's a profitable trader. Okay. 50 cents. Is Elon puking all of his Doge? Or is 50 cents gonna hold? And the dip was bought. Is this conventional swing low failure pattern? Let's see if the hour. It's possible in the hour. Okay, so what you would want to see, you basically, it's hard with just a massive bearish engulfing as the swing low failure, candle, but that's what you basically need here, where you have a low on price, a lower low, and then the next candle is a bought up higher low, right? And it's kind of a swing low failure at that critical 50 cent area, right? So 50 cents must hold. And again, it was really more like almost 51.6, right? We brought it up above 50 cents. So we were looking back left at this wick and this wick, and we're above them. So yeah, we're above them. Curious. 20, okay, 29, okay, see, so about, how's that music to volume decibel ratio? Little loud. I'm just trying to see where it should be so I could try and dial it in without having to ask you guys every time. Sometimes when we're just watching one chart for a second like this, it's nice to be able to throw on the tunes a little bit, right? Perfect music. All right, cool. Nice. All right, cool. Well, at least we're getting a little vibe, huh, with the trading. So, yeah, let's see. We're still just watching the dog, 50 cents, being bought up. So decent. Like to see that, right? Like to see that. Friggin' Dogecoin, right? What a mess this thing is. What an asset, right? What a story. Man. What a bounce, right? Yeah, that follow through price action. Very critical. Very critical with that follow through price action. See if she holds. We will check back in on you a bit later. You know what you need to do. You need to hold the line, get back above this line, if you want to get the highs. If you fall below this, right? If we fall back below and regard it as resistance, it's gonna sell off, okay? As it did here. When you fall below and regarded it back as resistance, it sold off, right? So critical that you get back above those highs, okay? Who's my favorite artists? I don't even know what I'm actually. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see it when I put it on. I'm not sure if you could see that or not, but it's basically a bunch of stations. I don't go through the artists. Right now we're listening to some chill bass. It literally has a little fish, bass fish. Okay, so let's see. We'll switch it up once, and we'll go to. I think blues was actually fire earlier. We got the blues. So this is We Got the Blues. Maker. Okay, let's go Maker. Okay, so Maker. Why did that stop? There we go. Okay. Maker. So we kind of identified a trade setup. This must have been two streams ago when we would have identified this. It appears we've hit that target 1 area and then sold off. But you know, as long as you continue to paint higher lows, you can, you know, aim for, you know, the following targets, right? So this first target area has been hit, so we'll go ahead and clean that up. So your next area of interest would be like this, right? So you have to now be shooting for these targets. So let's see if you can get a fill or not. On Maker again, you would be looking for a fill, maybe even lower. Maybe you back test and square up 5K, 5080 kind of area, basically 5K. Again, you don't want to lose that 49, 48, 20 area. That's where your stop still sitting, still remains below these previous wicks, right? See that wick low there on May 7th? So stop still remains below there. You'd be kind of just looking for a bit of a refill here if you took some profit, or if you haven't entered this before. You can still play with this because the stop is very defined and very tight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you take this a little higher, your stop is, you know, much wider. So the more you can get this to layer down into this area to about 5080, right? There's that square. See this square up I'm looking at right here where traders settled up? So that is the area on Maker you'd be wanting to look to potentially re-enter, right? Right here is what I'm looking at. Okay, guys, so layer down towards that area if you're trying to fill, and then, you know, see what happens. Okay, stop 4821. Stop 4821. Okay, EOS, we talked about EOS I think last stream. I think we wanted to stay away from this one at this point. Yeah, I mean, you got these three wicks right there, but that you could kind of use as like a protection. You see what I mean? Like this. Whoops, didn't grab the tool. Like this, basically. So if you were using those wicks as protection and you were entering, see, you could have got all the way down on this wick. So see what it gives you. But say for example you got it there, you'd be using, whoops, you'd be using those wicks as your stop, right? And then you'd be targeting back up here. That's 2.5 to 1. I don't know how much more it would give you than that, being that it kind of already hit and played out. Maybe you double top like this, run the highs, but nothing, no real clear edge here. So if you were taking a trade on EOS, it would probably be something like that, right? Where really tight stop loss. You don't want to lose those wicks. And again, it's like a supply and demand type situation, guys, where when we look at this, when we look at this the other way, right? If we were coming at this the other way, let me zoom in here for you, right? What do we always say? Strike one, strike two, 3 times the charm. So if you hit that, you're probably going to run it. You see what I mean? But that's not in your favor on a long. You see how that would stop you out like that? So it's like there becomes not enough protection at that level maintains, basically. You know what I'm saying? The supply, right? Not enough supply, too much demand for shorts at that point, right? So too many sellers, people shorting the asset because they've hit the take profit target area, 1618 golden mean ratio, sold, and some of them not only sold but then flipped short, right? Pushing the asset further down. So now the asset came down, found a bottom, but now they're eating away at that what is now support and attempting to flip the area into resistance, right? So $9.50 must hold if you want to see $11.50 again, okay? EOS. Next is XEM USDT NEM. Okay, guys, XEM. All right, so we painted this initial low, right? Slightly higher low. That was the initial beginning of this, right? And then with that, you painted this initial neckline, okay? You broke through, right? Break, hook, back tested it, and then ran up, squared up the level, right? Previous area up here was squared up, right? You see the square up? You also hit a measured move. Okay. Measured move on NEM. You see that? Measured move was hit, square up, achieved, sold back off. Back tested previous neckline, but not a complete back test because you continued to put in even a slightly higher low than the neckline, which is good. Now you have the overhead resistance that you created the first time, right? Strike one, strike two, strike three, third time's a charm. Break, hook, go. Back testing it now as support. Okay, so that must hold right here. Okay, next target area would be basically right at around 45 to 46 cents. Okay, if you were fibbing this from high to low, that's the 786. Target area would be like this, 786, 886 type of price action. Okay, 886 would be where you would paint your bat, butterfly-esque beginning, right? The bat makes it stay the 886. The butterfly would continue to the 1272, but first it becomes a bat, right? You got to start there. So that being said, if you were taking a long here, you'd be targeting this area. 3 to 1 stop is allowed to be right here. Okay, 3 to 1 stop would be 32 cents, target would be 47 cents. Okay, initial, that's the initial way you would play NEM. Dog still holding above 50 cents. You're now back at 56 cents when you were as low as 47. You've already been bought back up 20% of the way back up. What a mess. Let's check on Bitcoin. Looks like Bitcoin sold off a bit during that, maybe caused that. Again, all it did was exactly back. Remember, we said this. We were like, okay, we might even fall back in and back test these levels, but as long as we get bought back up, and we should quickly, and it's all about that follow through price action, right? So even here on Bitcoin, you know, you're not witnessing the worst thing here, right? So this is pretty good price action here, as far as, you know, what we wanted to see. If we were going to fall back in the zone, we wanted to just test it, get bought back up. So now we need to now get, excuse me, back above this second level if we're going to continue up. And then ideally we back test this recent resistance area, right, as support, and then continue on up, right? So that's how Bitcoin would look upcoming, right? We need to hold that area though. We need to hold that 57.6 area that it tested, right? In order to eventually get to the 63K zone that we are so seeking on Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum. Four hour. Yeah, so Ethereum just kind of hanging out still in that area. See if it could go up and just test 4K, right? Still just kind of hanging out there. FTT. Was it FTT? No. I think it was FTM. FTM. Which one were we charting? FTT. FTT. Okay, so good initial reaction from that zone on FTT. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. On a lower time frame, again, we said potential double top, and you kind of already almost got it. You see what I mean? So is it possible though it happens more dramatic, where this is just regarded as a single top and we need it as a complete second top like this? Possible as well. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. But yeah, initial reaction sell-off from that area was good sign. That's what we've been looking for. Okay, somebody's now saying XRP. Okay, XRP again reached that critical resistance level, right? Critical resistance level, and started to sell off. So not good for XRP, but what it also kind of did is simply backtest that torso, right? This previous like gray box, that torso abdomen area that we talked about, of the dragon, of the duck, right? The chest, the abdomen. It simply kind of just went back there, back tested that, and immediately got bought back up. And if we look, you see how there was a let me zoom in on this for you. You see how there was a square up area there? So it went and squared the level up, immediately got bought back up, right? So still okay here overall as far as, you know, the run to the upside, but you still have to do this, right? You have to get back above this area. Ideally, you probably run into it again, sell back off, partial decline, and then run up, break, hook, back test, and go, right? So same plan here. Don't like how low that wick was. This really is pretty much invalidated structure. At this point, it's more just like this, right? Just a still higher low. So we'll just have to see how that holds up. Okay. Someone's asking for dominance chart. That's pretty gross. Wow. All right, the daily seems a little more promising, but the 4 hour was not yet. Daily MACD and RSI beginning to diverge in a bullish direction. Okay, clear class A bullish divergence on the RSI, and clear class A 3x bullish divergence on the MACD, where you had a low on price, a lower low on price, and a lower, even lower low on price, right? So the daily showing some promising signs here for Bitcoin dominance coming back to the other side, right? Bitcoin taking that back over. But again, we'd like to see the 4 hour kind of coinciding, and it really it really isn't. Let me get rid of this one. Okay, 4 hour. Let's see, let's zoom in. Okay, so structure-esque, if this were going to be it, we need it to hold up. It would basically, this would have to be the low, right? And this would have to maintain a higher low, okay? So we don't want to see that level broken, 4 or 5, right? And it looks as if we're painting some kind of scrubby neckline here, right? Scrubby-esque. So we would want to see, you know, again, if this was kind of a measured move in structure. Looking for our TA, we would be looking for a potential square up of the next level, right? Aligning with a measured move, and it would place the dominance back around 47%. Bitcoin dominance, which would, you know, align with Bitcoin taking its turn and running to 63 while maybe Ethereum kind of cools off, right? A lot of the dominance came out of Bitcoin due to Ethereum, right? Ethereum, the dog, right? All these assets soaking up a ton of liquidity from Bitcoin, right? So okay, next request. SXP. Okay, guys. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay. So we have a very clear level here, right? Don't want to lose that. The good news is that being so defined, right? It's kind of a fairly tight stop. You could almost just take a stab at this just to see what happens here. You see how tight you can be? So it's almost like a scalp, but it's still going to have a swing target, right? 3.5 to 1. Yeah, that's not too bad looking. SXP. Okay, interesting. Okay, so the reason we're looking at that as being interesting is because look at the waning and basically your MACD, right? You're getting much lower levels of negative momentum, right? And price is basically putting in this equal kind of bottom. So that's pretty interesting, to say the least. We probably should take some note of that. And yeah, very interesting. RSI starting to wane as well. You see how you had the and then much lower levels of relative strength, but now putting in higher levels of relative strength, right? So that's what you want to see there. That's good on the RSI, right? So hold the levels, right? Hold the levels. If that can happen, let's see where we are. Basically, you would be putting in and aiming for either a double top or a sweep of the level. Okay, so let's look back left. Critical horizontal line resistance, number 1. Okay, critical horizontal line resistance, number 2. So if you can hold, you must get into these areas and begin to flip them and regard them as support, and that's how you can see new highs. Okay, again, if you lose this level and you sell off and you regard it as resistance, right, get out. So that's why I say it's a decent area, because you have a fairly tight, invalidation zone, basically, is, you know what I'm saying? So you can take a little stab there without getting bit too bad. That's what this is kind of about, right? It's about, a lot of small losses with massive runners, right? You don't want to have a bunch of small gains with a massive loss, right? You want that the other way around. You want a bunch of small losses, right? Like this would be a small loss, which could potentially end up being, resulting in a massive gain, right? This is what, you want just the edge in your favor. Occasionally the edge is invalidated, you stop out, but when it works out, you're able to find and allow some of these runners to run, right? So we'll just have to see here, but yeah, decent area here and pretty decent structure here on this 4-hour MACD. Not as clear on the 1 hour, but 1 hour is more of an insignificant time frame. We prefer at least 4-hour minimum for our entry. Okay. Let's see next. ONT. ONT. Okay, so on this one, again, I would say your edge is probably, there was definitely a much clearer edge here that has came and gone, right? So let's kind of look back here. Repaint the price action structure. Okay, when we had this low on price, slightly higher low, we had this downsloping spine, right? Dragon, duck-esque pattern price action, right? Okay. We then from there proceeded to okay, we painted this initial neckline right here. Okay, We broke through that, back tested it, regarded as support, ran up, okay? And now we then created the basically this abdomen area, right? That we finally got back above. From there, from high to low, we hit the 1272, okay? It's possible that you can still hit the 1414 at $3.16, and it's possible that you can hit the 1618 at 344. Again, you need Bitcoin to run. It seems like Bitcoin wants to. If you were going to zoom in on this, you are painting hidden bullish divergence on the low time frame, more local, right? Price action, not lower time frame, just more local price, right? So zooming in on that, doesn't look too half bad here. Okay, so painted a low, Bukowski, slightly higher low, Bukowski double bottom. We've got this neckline developing price action structure. Okay, and we have pretty good area of invalidation. Okay, so one could say that they were gonna have a stop here, $2.28 stop loss, targets the high. Okay, 2.5 to 1 possible entry trade on ONT would look like that. Okay, yeah, it looks like that's pretty much all the requests for the moment, guys. I can go back to BTC for you. We could throw another request in the chat maybe. Okay, so look, you're getting back above to that level. Okay, so that's a good sign on your Bitcoin price action, right? So you wanted to see Bitcoin get above that level. Definitely need to hold, right? Flip this what is it, 58,200 area, right? You must flip this back into support like this, right? And then you can run these highs like this. Okay, request for COPE. COPE is USDT or USD only. Okay, COPE 4 hour. Jeez, lots of COPE happening here. Wow. Okay, let's check the oscillators. Not the best. Okay, we're starting to wane definitely bearishly here. Okay, sorry, let me repaint that. Stupid polyline. Okay, let's go red. Okay, let's go back to price. So what I'm doing there, guys, is we had this initial high on price, put in a slightly higher high on price, and even a slightly higher high on price. Well, you're showing much lower levels of positive momentum, and you are doing the same thing on the RSI with the tail end bearish divergence on the RSI. People are going to be coping pretty hard pretty soon on this as it begins to sell off. I see a potential square up right here as a target, and yeah, golden retrace zone between the 382 and the 618, square up right in that zone. More local fib, local low, same thing. Golden retrace would place you between here and here. Sorry, boom. All of these coinciding areas make one kind of target zone here, like this. Okay, I would take a short on this asset targeting this zone. This would allow your stop to be about 2.5 to 1, about 850. You wouldn't want to get back into that 850 zone. Okay, that you haven't been there yet, but you wouldn't want to see COPE go to 850. You'd want to get out of there. So target would be back to kind of that $6 area, giving you 2.5 to 1 on your trade. But yeah, I would probably not be a buyer of COPE any longer until the dust settles a bit. You know, find yourself a better area. It doesn't mean you have to short it. Just let the short play out, right? Let the short play out. See if it finds support here, and then you could find maybe a long backup, right? That's what I'm trying to say as well. Doesn't always mean you have to short. I just don't see an edge for a long at this exact given moment, right? I think this is yeah, getting a little toppy here. Oscillator's not in your favor. Okay, I think we looked at FTM, but we have a FTM request. Let's look at it just from the SAM view. Oof. Yeah, okay, we talked about this. We said, look, we had already hit this 1414 area. You were basically in that zone, right? The work didn't save, but we had already done this. Sold off. We even said Sam was going to be pissed. I don't know. He might be mad right now. Not too sure. But yeah, started selling off. But it did hold up. That being said, right? So this low time frame harmonic is gone. So now the larger one, you still, yeah, you basically hit that shark, guys. 113. Okay, so at this point, you need a bearish 5-0. Let me do this again. See low, current high. 50% retrace, 59 cents. Okay, so you'd be looking for a sell-off to the 50% area, double bottom, run back to the highs. Okay, this is where you would morph into a bullish 5-0, something like this. Possibility, 2.5 to 1 on a trade. You could even bring the stop a little higher, make it 3 to 1. Okay, but FTM again, I don't know. We did not like to see what we saw up there a couple days ago, right? Dump. We had already had that identified, and it definitely sold off, right? Okay, next we have Radium. Ray had hit the first target of the trade setup and then sold off, right? Let me zoom in a little. So we had hit that first take profit target area, which is the let me get this. It is the 1272 on the butterfly. You hit the butterfly, sold all the way back off, right back to entry, double bottom at entry. We had already painted this double bottom, and you immediately engulfed back from that and are starting to paint a higher low. So it's still possible that Ray ends up at $18. Stop loss would be below the previous SR level of 12.25. You don't want to lose 12. You would bail out of the trade if you lost 12. You held up above that, which is good, what you wanted, and you are looking decent here to still get your target area. Okay, yeah, Ray. Let's see, one more. We got band. Okay, band painted some kind of harmonic back there. That has yet to play out. Excuse me, let's clean it up though. Take profit target areas are up here, the A and the C. Like this. Okay. So currently you are painting, you painted this low here, right? Painting higher lows here. So far so good, right? And even on that sell off, a higher low area. So the trend is starting to create, basically, right? You're developing this trend line, upsloping trend line, okay? You're also developing this pretty discernible kind of, you know, very discernible, right? Neckline-esque price action and structure, okay? So one could actually take a trade here immediately, stop below this previous low, targeting this high, 4-1, okay? Band. You don't want to lose that trend line. It's very discernibly developed. You need to run into this overhead resistance, get back above it, regard it as support, and then you can run this high, okay? Band. We'll look at it from Sam's view. No good. Alert, alert, alert. No good. No good, no good, no good, no good, no good. Okay. High on price. Higher high on price. Lower highs on price. Okay. Pretty equal lower highs, right? From the previous area to here. Okay. So structure developing. Okay. Inverse even. Okay. So a couple things here. You need to get above this level and hold it to invalidate, okay? If you fail here and you backtest this as resistance, you're going to sell off. If you sell off, measured move of this structure be probably like this, okay? On a sell-off, you would end up back at this previous resistance support area, okay? So you don't want to see that. You need to get above $11. You need to flip that level, $11, in order for continuation. If this fails below this upsloping trend line, right, it's gonna be bad. You don't want to see that, right? You don't want to see, let me clear this up real quick. You don't want to see these previous lows right here lost, okay? You would stop out right there, okay? You don't want to lose 950. If you lose 950, probably get out of there. More than likely, this is a head and shoulders. But if you can hold here and you can get back above 11, then it's possible you could invalidate all of this, right? So that's kind of how you would play SRM at the moment. Rook. All right, Rook looks good for continuation here to the upside. Okay, so Rook, again, like most of these assets, painted this initial low on price on April the 23rd, right? And then you painted a slightly higher low, Bukowski double bottom, on April 25th. You then painted this initial neckline that you broke, back tested, again, and then, you know, ran away from. So good price action there. You had this downsloping trend line, broken spine, right? Duck head, okay? And you have gotten to the 886. All right, you hit the 886, guys. So that's that bearish shark. Butterfly, bat, all kind of hit that 886 first, right? And then we decide which one it is from there. This is much more, it's almost none of them due to how low this this B was, right? You wanted this B to be much higher, right? Almost much higher, okay? If you use this as the B and this as the C, it's possible it was more like that, okay? If that being said, this 886 would have been a bearish bat. You sold off, back tested the B, right? This previous B anchor point, now holding that as support, right? So we'll see if that ended up being just a bat. If it was going to be anything more, you would then be going for the butterfly. 1272 would be here, okay? So I would say if I was targeting the 1272, my stop 3 to 1 can be a little looser, about right here. This is how one would play rook at this point if you were looking to play rook. Cool. So yeah, yeah, I don't know, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. A little late stream, but got 2 of them in today. Got some chaos on the dog. I guess we could check it one last time, since this was kind of the dog SNL stream. Again, you're just there at that 50-cent area. Definitely lost it for a while there, but back above, so just have to see if that holds. And yeah, see if bids could step in. Again, critical, hold above 50 cents, and then you got to get back to 65 and flip it. If you lose 50 and you end up back testing 50 as resistance, you know, get out of there, right? So quick chime in on XRP. XRP looks like this. We're looking for a slightly higher high to hold. We need to get back to that neckline at 162. If you could flip that level like this, right? Flip that level into support, bring this turn that into another SR flip level, you could then see $1.85. Cool. So all right, guys, yeah, hope you have a good rest of your evening, night, morning, depending on your time zone. But yeah, catch you guys in the Discord, and yeah, have a good night.